Well, hey friends, it's Tracy from Tea Time with Tracy and Friends, and I wanted to do a springtime TBR. It's like 5:30 in the morning here. I couldn't sleep, and I just finished my coffee. And I had picked these books out the other day, but I was really under the weather. And yeah, anyways, I'm gonna do it now. It's gonna be quick. It's gonna be easy. Some of these books are from my other TBRs. I think, well, I'll go through them when I get to them. So here, I picked 10. Now, it just turned spring the other day, and summer starts June 20th. So between then and beginning of summer, I want to get these ones done. So, first one, J.R. Ward. It's part of the Legacy series, which intertwines with the Black Dagger Brotherhood series. I have been trying to work my way through that. I read up to the book Shadows. There's 27 books in this series if you include the Legacy series. There's 23 books in that series if you don't. I looked on the J.R. Ward website, and the reading order after the Shadows, you read one of the Legacy books. And this is the first book in the Legacy. And this has to do with one of the girls. Well, the whole series is about vampire, the vampires and the lessers. The vampires have a sect that kind of protect the normal vampires, and these vampires aren't wild or crazy, like they're aristocratic or just like people, only they're vampires. But there are people in this world and they don't know about vampires. The lessers are the bad people. They smell like baby powder and they have black blood, and they pretty much gave their soul to the Omega, and they're in the world to destroy the vampires. But the vampires, like I said, aren't bad people. Like, they're not bad. They're not hurting humanity or anything like that. Anyways, it's too big to try to explain into this video. Anyways, this is about a young woman. I bought this from thrift books, but like 50 cents. She's the daughter of one of the aristocrats who is an advisor to the king of the Black Dagger Brotherhood, Wrath. And, of course, they're aristocrats. Most of them are really snobby and, you know, high society, upper crust, so to speak. Anyways, she doesn't want to be that. She wants to go into the boot camp to become one of the fighters against the lessers, is my understanding. That's all I really know about it. So they're just young. And I think she has, she takes a shine to not an aristocrat boy or young man who her father would not want. Anyways, that's not a very good explanation. I have the whole series. I have read up to the Shadows, and that's, I don't know, I'll put a number here of how many books that is in the series. And I want to try to finish the entire series, maybe this year. Hopefully, I do have it on that shelf over there. So I haven't pulled that out of my jar or anything so far, any of those books. So I'm going to put one on my spring TBR. This is a thriller by John Mars. I have only ever read the one by him, and I did like it. So this will be my second book by him. That book went a little more violent than I thought it was going to be. So I'm looking forward to this. I just read the back of it. It's about two friends that live in a house. They share a dinner together, but it's Maggie and Nina. And after dinner, Maggie is brought up to the attic. She willingly goes up to the attic, is chained up in the attic, and she only ever comes out for dinner. And like, because in this house, the truth is more dangerous than lies. Nina will never forgive Maggie for what she did, and she can never let her leave. So that's all I know about it. There's nothing. I have nothing on this one. So it's a thriller. John Mars. I just wanted to read another book of his. I had this one, so, you know, thrillers isn't my #1 genre, but I do read them sprinkled throughout my reading journey in a year. So there's another one. This is a continuation of the series. I read The Witching Hour in February. It's The Mayfair Witches by Anne Rice, and they're very dense. and they're very descriptive, and they're very small print. But this is book 2, Lasher. I have all the books in this series, and I do want to try to read this series. I don't know if I'll read them all, because they're all really big books. This has 628 pages, and it was out in 1993. So, I can't really get into this a whole lot. This follows, it's like a family saga of the Mayfair family. And there is this demon, Lasher, demon entity that follows this family throughout the generations. So in the witching hour, you've seen generation. He takes an affiliation to one of the women in this family and haunts them, but he loves them, but he haunts them, but he loves them. And his main goal is to become an actual person, like a tangible being. And where the witching hour left off, I needs to know. So Lasher. Hunting Adeline. I read Haunting Adeline this month, and I liked it. It was good. Yeah, there were some dark parts in it. I was expecting more, honestly, but they say that this book is much darker. It was good. It was fine. I was expecting to be, punched in the face, knocked off my feet, but I'm not saying I didn't like it. I did like it. I want to read part 2, and then I can mark one of the series. I plan on finishing 10 series this year. That's off one of the readathons that I'm doing. So I do consider 2 books a series, duets, trilogies, or 27 book series. They're all series. If there's more than one book to a story, it's a series. So I would like to read this one, and I can mark another series off my list. Same goes for this one. I read The Black Farm, I don't know, in January maybe. It's an extreme horror. Very disturbing stuff in it, but I almost found it like an adventure story. I don't know what that says about me, but horrific things go on in the first book. This is Return to the Black Farm by Elias Withrow. I have it. I want to finish it, and again, knock off another series this year. Not for the light of heart. It's really not. There's gross stuff, or at least in the other one, gross, disgusting. The first one was about 2 people that offed themselves because they had a terrible time together, like extreme depression and loss of a child and all the things. And they thought the sweet bliss of oblivion would release them from the torment that they were facing. So that's not the case. They were plopped into this world and exposed to extreme torture. And anyways, so one more again. This is continuing a series. This will not finish a series. This is a trilogy. The first book is 9 Minutes by Beth Flynn. This is an MC motorcycle romance. And the first book surprised me. It was way better than I thought it was going to be. MC is not really my favorite kind of romance at all. I know the first book doesn't have explicit sexual content in it. It does have some, but not like plastered with it. I don't know where the heck this is going to go. So this is book 2 in that trilogy. I would like to read it and work my way through this one. Pretty dark, pretty disturbing, very inappropriate in a lot of things. But yeah, this is by Beth Flynn. Out of Time. This is the last book in a trilogy. I read book 2, Truth, this month, March. I read the first book either in January or February. The first book is Consequences, then Truth, then Convicted. Aletha Romig, Convicted. So the series first starts off with a young woman who's working as a waitress at a strip bar. She's not stripping, she's just working as a waitress. And a very distinguished man comes in, he seems to like this waitress and finally convinces her to go out with him, and ultimately kind of abducts her to his home. And the first book, there was a lot of abuse in it. Like, I don't know how in my book, he's still not redeemed. I'm in book 2. I'm done book 2, actually. And it ended how I did not expect how it ended. So I'm really looking forward to book 3, how this all concludes, because it's like a giant chess game of, you think it's going one way and then it goes another way, and back and forth and back and forth. And I'm just like, for God's sakes, I don't know. I would just disappear forever. This is a continuation of the Passage series. It's a trilogy. I read The Passage last month. I think last month, I picked it for paranormal because it has vampires in it, but it's more of a dystopian trilogy. There are vampires in it, and they're not the regular kind of vampires at all. It's more of dystopian. The first book, a good chunk of the book takes place in present time, or this time. And then it fast forward to 75 years later because something crazy happens, and then it follows another group of people. But there's one character from the present time that's still alive and young in 75 years later with different powers and stuff. Anyways, I'm really enjoying it. There's not afraid of losing people and destroying little survivors and communities and stuff. This is book 2. I think the third book is called The Mirrors or something. So this is just continuation of a trilogy I want to get through to mark off another series. So it's a big one. 564 pages. And this was out in 2012. This book is on my beefcake challenge. So I had this on my beefcake one. So I'm trying to work through those. And yeah, I have this one and the next one in the series on my beefcake challenge. So if I can get through that, I'll be good. This one, Stephen King, Cell. This is on my 25 and 2025 book. I didn't know what this was about. I just read the inside thing. I kind of knew like something goes off with their cell phones and everybody turns into a zombie. So I think that's what it is. But there's a character we follow. What the heck's his name? Clayton. He just got a book deal or comic deal. Comedian maybe? Or comic book. I don't know. Deal finally, and he lands in this city like in Maine and in Boston, I think. But he's all excited and jazzed up about this, so he can finally take care of his family like he's wanted to take care of his family. And somehow something happens with cell phones, because almost everybody has cell phones, and they turn into, I don't know if it's zombies or like their base instinct, and they start to evolve in an aggressive way. So it follows a ragtag bunch of survivors, and he's trying to get back to his family, I believe. I don't know. But yeah, another one off my 25 and 2025. That one. And Clive Barker's The Great and Secret Show. I read this book a few years ago. I'm going to read this one with Audible. This is a fantasy horror. And there's so many characters in it. I remember it first starts off with a murder in a little tiny letter room in Nebraska. I think it's in Nebraska. And it goes from there. It goes batshit crazy from there. There's so many characters, and like, I can't even put it into words. A lake falls from the sky, and there's celebrities in it, like old time celebrities. And anyways, I want to reread this one again via Audible, because Everville, which is book 2 in this series, this is the art, I forget what the series called, the art something, the book of art. Everville is book 2 in my beefcake challenge. And before I do that, I want to read this again. So up to date with it because it's been a while since I've read this and there's a lot of details and stuff in that. So do this one and I'll be ready for Everville. Now that was originally supposed to be a trilogy, but Clive Barker has never put out the third book, but I have the second book, so I want to read the second book. And it's been over 20 years, 25 years. I don't know when. I don't know. But so it's probably never going to come out, but I still want to read this book and the next book to say that I've read it. And I enjoyed it. I did. It's crazy. It's absolutely bananas. So anyways, that's my spring TBR. It's a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I'll be marking stuff off of goals that I have this year. So I'm going to say peace, love, and happiness today and every single day. Please like, share, and subscribe if you so choose. Excuse me. But if not, that's okay too. I still love you. I still want all the happiness in the world for each and every one of you out there. I certainly do. I really, really honest and truly do. Yes, I do. So, okay, guys, with that, I'm going to say have a good night or have a good morning. And I will see you next time. Bye. Boink.